I'll just start by a brief quote. I think that last month the FP magazine issued a list of top 100 global thinkers, and I think the Tunisian president, Monsef Marzouki, was ranked number 2 in that list. Let me quote here, for keeping the ideas of the Arab Spring alive. I think this is a testament to Tunisian leadership in this transition that we're having, and I'm thankful again for being part of this forum. But I also think that we should congratulate the Maghreb Economic Forum for making sure that the Maghreb ideas are still alive, so thank you for that. I think I'm one of the less experienced contributors in this panel, so I'll try to be very, very brief. I'll limit my comments to 3 key areas or 3 key observations that I've witnessed since this morning's conversation started. The first of which, when we discuss integration, I heard a lot of talk about making sure there's bilateral framework or a troika. Maybe a concept could be that we should take it a step further below, focus on city-to-city initiatives. What I mean by that is that when we look at, for example, in the post-revolution in Tunisia and Libya, you could notice quickly that there are some cities that are more resilient and more dynamic than others. So, for example, Sfax and Misrata, in both Arab cities, have evolved a very unique relationship that you can see. For example, they've worked on their connectivity, so now there's flights between Sfax and Misrata directly. They did not exist before. They've established bilateral trade relations. Even their chambers of commerce of both cities have signed agreements together independent from central government. So that shows innovation and dynamism. And I think if we can reflect on that a bit more, then that might be a bit more pragmatic to look at that, rather than a national framework, possibly. My second comment, I heard a comment this morning suggesting that, I think from Mr. Navli, that we should focus on specific industries. I really, that resonates very clearly with my ears. I think that that's something that we should focus on more than we're trying to develop a political framework. So when we talk about specific industries, I would add to that comment that we should focus on industries that promote export promotion. So that, what I mean by that is that we should focus on industries that allow our, for example, 2 countries or 3 countries where they can leverage more their existing trade relationships vis-a-vis the EU. So, for example, if we look at something like fisheries, that's not non-conventional industry, but it's an industry where you can really leverage a lot on the existing benefits that, for example, Tunisian fishermen have vis-a-vis Libyans. With regards to their trade relations with the EU. So focusing on industries that have an export component is something that I believe is very, very fundamental. And I think my third comment, and I'll stop it here. When we talk about integration, I believe that, I think the comment was made this morning as well, that we should focus more on business-to-business relationships. What I would add to that is let's focus on young entrepreneurs. I think that that's something that's quite important and that I've not heard a lot about. I think the concept or the consensus is that maybe larger entities, maybe multinational entities are more important for the integration framework, but maybe we should also pay some more attention for young entrepreneurs and startups and SMEs. And for that matter, I think there's a lot of undertakings that need to be taken, to be provided, so that the enabling environment for these SMEs can be more conducive for them to talk to each other. Finally, I'll stop here. I believe that at a previous gathering at Maghreb Economic Forum, Mahmoud Treki mentioned something that was very important, which is that we should focus on making sure that there's an education framework that allows for more labor mobility. And I would like to second that. I think that, I think last month I was in Marseille, the CMI, and a lot of discussion was revolving around Erasmus, which is a program that was developed in Europe many decades ago, that allowed for a lot of dare I call it labor mobility, because there's a lot of education exchange programs. I believe something along those lines is very, very relevant to our countries at this point of time. So I think I'll stop there, and looking forward to learning more from your distinguished guests. Thank you very much.